I'm Emily Mashak, and you're listening to Tuned In To NoCo, the public affairs show that lets you know what matters in NoCo. I'm sitting down today with Katie Dockery, the Vice President of the Northern Colorado Services for Easterseals, to talk about the upcoming Steve Manshel benefit concert. So thank you for coming in today, Katie.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Now, before we get into the concert, for those who don't know, what is Easterseals, and specifically for the Northern Colorado chapter?
Yeah, our Northern Colorado Services supports adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities with a day program. We have respite services, transportation services, as well as help individuals find and maintain jobs.
And how did Easterseals come to be here in Colorado?
It actually started from another nonprofit. It was the Wings Center, and they partnered with Easterseals Colorado from the main office in Denver. And that partnership was about 8 years ago. And so we've been up here ever since.
Where does the name come from? It's kind of a funny name.
I know. It actually is an organization that's over 100 years old.
Oh, wow.
And it was started by a gentleman whose son had gotten in a streetcar accident and realized that there wasn't any services available for him. So he decided to do it himself. And one of them is you need to find fundraising to support services. So he ended up having a stamp, a seal that he put on Easter cards.
Oh, okay.
And so I don't actually remember his exact name of his business that he first started, but people started recognizing the Easter seal or the seal on the Easter card. Mm-hmm. And the name came that way over time.
And so the organization works with both physical and mental disabilities?
Yep. We say intellectual and developmental disabilities. So that can include cognitive disabilities, physical impairments, mental health, or if you have any medical needs that affect you in any way as well. Mm-hmm. And so we support the individual and their families and any caregivers.
And you work with veterans a lot too, right?
Yes, we also veterans as well.
Now you provide so many services and programs for the community. It's going to be a little hard to name them all, but can you go into just a little bit of detail about what those are and what they do?
Yeah, we have a day program where we've kept from the old nonprofit Easterseals, the Wings Center. So we have a day program called Wings that supports adults with disabilities. That's here in Northern Colorado, and we serve, that's typically are more consistent with intellectual and developmental disabilities for adults 18 and over. And within that program, we have them meet their goals for independence, for community independence. So that includes going out in the community and doing activities. Some of the activities we do, it includes martial arts, dance class, bowling, volunteering, all of those types of things. And we also have an in-house portion that has cooking classes and financial health classes. We recently started a do-it-yourself class, which is really popular. And so they are just learning skills for independence. Mm-hmm. That's one. Respite, really self-explanatory, but very much needed. Just a break in caregiving from a caregiver of a person with a disability or medical condition. And then transportation. We do support individuals, and we provide home to center and door-to-door services for their services that they need. And then we have employment services as well. And that helps with an individual through their whole process of finding and maintaining a job, from resume building to interview support, to onboarding process, to any of the processes that comes along with work.
So the goal is really just to be able to get them to be as independent as they can be with their disability.
Exactly. And all of our services are meant to fall away. So we want to be able to support our individuals to learn their skills and be as independent and do it themselves, and then we'll transition away. Mm-hmm.
And you help caregivers too, you said? So not just people with disabilities, but those who work with them?
Yes, caregivers. And that's most specifically within the respite services, as they need a break in order to provide quality caregiving to their person that they're taking care of. And it's only healthy for them to need time away to take a nap, go to the grocery store, go have coffee with a friend, or whatever else they want to do. It is that service is for the caregiver to get a break while a qualified person is taking care of their person that they care for.
Now, let's talk about the event, the Steve Manshel Benefit Concert. What can listeners who want to go expect?
Well, Steve Manshel is an award-winning singer-songwriter, guitarist, and he has been in the business for a while, and he really knows his community. He's from Loveland, and he knows his community, and he knows how to play for a crowd. So it's going to be a good time, and he's excited about dance music or his old favorites. Any of those things, he's ready to play.
Can you tell me some of the logistics? How can people get tickets? Where is it? When is it? How can they go?
Yeah, we're really excited to have it at Sweetheart Winery. They're on West Highway 34 in Loveland. And it's a beautiful location. It's right there in Loveland, but it feels like a mile away. Once you get there, you have all the trees and beautiful places around. It is $25 per person. With that, you get the wonderful music of Steve, food. There'll be heavy hors d'oeuvres, and of course, fun comes with that. There will be a cash bar available as well.
How can people get tickets?
We can buy tickets online or reserve tickets ahead of time by phone.
And then what time does it start?
It goes from 5 to 8. Steve will be playing from 5:30 to 7:30.
That sounds really fun, very exciting. How will this event specifically benefit Easterseals? Where will the profits go into that?
Yeah, it goes specifically back to our programming. Our programming is unique in the fact that we support individuals individually where they're at. So whatever our clients need, that's what we do. I listed off all of the programs we have just briefly, but there's so many more in that as well. And so the fundraising goes to support those programs that have been working.
That's awesome. How long have you been at Easterseals?
I've been at Easterseals working there for about 8 years.
Oh, awesome. Well, congratulations.
Well, thank you.
I'm sure you've seen so many examples of how it impacts the community since you've been there. Do you have a few stories that have stuck out to you or really just reminded you of how important this organization is?
Yeah, I have one of my favorite ones is seeing individuals who come to our program because they need to develop friendships and they have a hard time socializing and reaching out to friends. And then they've developed those lifelong friendships as well as any romantic relationships that come too. But, meeting people socially, that's often what happens. So we have a couple that has gotten married from meeting at our program, which is always really heartwarming to see. I also love seeing individuals and meeting them and going through their little victories, specifically around employment. That is something that a lot of people really want and helps with their independence. And it feels so great to work and do something and then get rewarded with a paycheck and to be able to go out and use that money to your own liking. So that is really fun when someone has been looking for a job or has a specific job and we're able to find that and support them through that and then help them towards their independence.
Has working there impact or changed the way that you've seen people with disabilities? Has it given you more intuition as to what their lives are like?
For me, I always say when I head in the morning, I may have had a hard day getting my son off to school or whatever other situation I have. But when I come in, I almost always have individuals tell me how great they are, how excited they are to see me for the day. And some individuals say that every single day, but it's still wonderful to see how happy they are to see me and how happy they are to be where they're at. It's a real big perspective change for me in seeing what perceived problems I have, and then getting to interact with individuals who are labeled with problems but don't see themselves that way.
Yeah.
And so they are happy-go-lucky, honest, truthful, straightforward, which is, I think, a lot of those things we all strive to be, those individuals who happen to have disabilities.
Sounds like it's really eye-opening.
It's a wonderful opportunity to be able to serve individuals with disabilities.
Yeah. For listeners who might want to be able to participate in something like that, how could they volunteer with Easterseals?
We are always looking for volunteers, as it really helps bring fresh perspective into our everyday activities. One of our favorite volunteer opportunities for us and for the volunteers is for them to help within our art therapy program. That can be a program that needs a lot of hands-on support or a lot of assistance, because paint and Sharpie markers and watercolors can get really messy if left to everyone's own devices. So we really like a lot of extra hands there. So reaching out to us here in the Loveland office, our phone number is 970-669-2777, and just reaching out about any volunteer opportunities they're interested in, or that they just want to volunteer. We would very much appreciate that. And so does our participants.
Oh, I bet. And if people don't have time to volunteer, obviously they can contribute by going to the Steve Manshel concert. Exactly. But can they donate as well?
Oh, yes. We're always taking donations, in-kind donations, donations of art supplies, donations of office supplies, paper products, anything that most individuals use throughout their house. We go through a lot of them.
And if they just want to donate, they can just call the number? Is that how it would go?
Yep. Just call the number, arrange for a drop-off time, and we can gladly accept any of those.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming in and talking to me today, Katie. It was great to learn more about your organization, and I'm really excited for the concert coming up.
Well, thank you.